The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
You're going to run into dead ends. You're going to run into roadblocks. You're going to run into kinks. And that's to be expected. Listen, Mike Zullo and I, and Sheriff Arpaio, we've said from the beginning, all we want's the truth. We're not out to politically crucify a president because we disagree with his politics, so therefore we're going to drum up some false fabrication charges on him. No, all of the evidence shows that this is a fabricated felony federal crime, and that's what we're going with. Along the way, the Obama bots, I call them, those that are squarely in his camp, who are disinformation officers of the Obama regime, some of them, we believe, even tied to the White House itself, which is another federal crime. Anyway, for the last several years, they have thrown curveballs and disinformation campaigns, and some of them have been legitimate sounding enough that when they come, Zullo and the cold case posse, they have to investigate. I mean, they have to. That's because they're professional law enforcement officers. See, these guys can throw curveballs all they want because they're punks and thugs. But Zullo and the cold case posse and Arpaio, they're real lawmen. So when a curveball comes their way, they investigate it. The bottom line is, where we are today, every single curveball that has been thrown, all I can say officially and publicly is they are of no concern to the criminal investigation. Now, the OBOTs desperately want to know what we know, and they want the details so they can start another disinformation campaign, but I am not going to come on radio and television and give the details of a criminal investigation, and neither is Zullo. So the OBOTs can just be happy until the day it comes before Congress. Then they'll find out what we know.
Then hopefully it will be too late for them to play a game and do a jig.
Well, yeah, of course it will, because by then people will be subpoenaed from Hawaii to Washington, D.C., and they'll be appearing before Congress or either go to prison. So, that's the way it's going to be. And that's the way we're doing it. And, so that's why I said from the beginning I had to be a little nefarious, not nefarious, that's the wrong word. I had to be a little nebulous, there's the word. I had to be a little nebulous with your audience. I had to be a little general in my disclosure of information. And the reason is because this is not a game. This is a criminal investigation concerning the White House. A crime has been committed by somebody in the White House and representing the president. And so we got to get it before Congress because it goes directly to the identity of the commander-in-chief.
Assuming that it goes through and there's impeachment papers, the House still has to get the Senate to sign off on it, so it still may be stonewalled, the action, even if they can prove it.
Well, yeah, and that's true, but, that shouldn't stop us from going forward and exposing to the public. The outcry could be so great. I mean, Nixon, the outcry was so great, he just resigned. Clinton was impeached, but it never was approved by the Senate, but yet he was impeached, and that Mark went with him and still is with him today. So again, I'm not out to crucify Barack Obama politically. I'm not. I want the Constitution protected. I want the truth out there, and I want those of us who have known this all along to be vindicated.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.